Welcome back to Elite Gameplay Analysis, guys. My name is John, and today we are going to be breaking down, I guess I'm a professional EAFC coach, guys, the top 200 player, and your favorite millennial. Until next time, guys, we'll see you soon. That's not the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to continue watching this video, but let's go ahead and get into this, guys. This is where I break down my elite matches and give you guys tips and guidance on how to play, how to attack, how to defend, and the mindset, the mentality, the speed, the tactics, the awareness, all the mechanics, everything that you need to create the best possible outcome for yourself. As you can see, we use a double R1 mechanic right there. I know it is a little bit jagged, it is in my software, so just bear with me here. But guys, today's focus is going to be on attacking pockets. I just made a video yesterday on learn to attack the pockets from the defensive side and showing you guys some of the defensive positioning and then showing you why possession doesn't matter. And it's really about just finding opportunities and creating chances, right? So in pro matches, guys, you'll see them have 8 goals against 5 goals, 7 goals, right? You'll see them have 3 against 2. But ultimately, what I'm saying is pros are getting scored on and pros are able to lock them down. It just depends on how the game flows and how many opportunities are created versus the tactical side of that game. So we're just going to be breaking down and showing you guys what you should be trying to focus on when you attack. So many people don't know what to focus on. They just play without thinking, and it's just brain dead, right? So like what I mean by that is, how many times do you see players just go right here? What would you think, Grace? Go right here, and then you go like this, and then you go like this, right? That's common, right? And so I only do this movement like maybe 3 times a game, but I see some people, guys, all they do is this movement, right? I'm not saying that this movement's bad because it is OP where the AI flies down, so it can be effective. I'm not saying don't do this because it is effective. But what I'm saying is don't be so obvious all the time to do that. So like you see how I cut early? That's going to throw him off a little bit, but I thought he was going to pull back and expect me to cut back, right? So I was trying to be cheeky there. So I make a mistake by trying to be cheeky, but I'm trying to create a chance. I could have held on to this. I really honestly could have held on to this, right? So I could have held on to this, maybe played this out possession-wise, maybe done this cut back, right? But I was trying to take a risk off of this edge position. And so whenever I talk about this game, guys, and we talk about possibilities, probabilities, and the opportunities that you create, it's all about taking a chance at some point, okay? That's what it comes down to. It's all about taking a chance, right? So when I'm sprinting right here, I let go, I'm trying to actually turn this way just slightly, and he runs into it, right? But the thing about it is he has to connect with me at full pace, which not like, honestly, elite players don't like to connect at full pace. That's not something that you like to do, because if you connect at full pace, you instantly make a mistake, like instantly, and you're open, you usually get scored on, and that's all it takes. But we do win the ball in this position, so now you can see the recycle play. But here's the pocket that we're looking at, guys. And so this is a simple recycle play, and it's a goal, right? And so did it work for us in this scenario? Sure, it sure did. But I want to show you the pocket that you should be looking for. So there's pockets when we're attacking that I'm really going to be trying to focus on for you guys. But basically, this is a huge pocket. Look at this. This is massive. This is terrible defense. And then this is a huge pocket as well. And then you also had the backside zone, backside area where we could play into as well. So this is massive amount of space, right? And so all I have to do is play that really quickly. So he's way off because this center mid's way too out of position. This fullback's out of position. What happens if this fullback was in? Then he could step. That's all it takes, right? And Ori, that pass wouldn't even been able to make, but I'm able to make that pass because of the poor rotation. How does he get better at this? How does somebody defend this zone? Or how does somebody defend when this happens? Okay, so he makes a mistake right here, right here. Vitinha, broken instantaneously. He's pretty much screwed. This is where he's pretty much screwed, but he has to drag back. He has to drag in like this. What he needs to do is force me wide. He can't let me come back into this zone, into this position. And so that you'll notice the first thing I try to do is I try to get right into the spot. And so then he actually had opportunity. I tried to get in and it didn't work. So if you can see this right here, I'm trying to get right here really quick. I'm trying to take that chance. This is why I talk about chances. It gets a little bit of a rebound, right? But now he has an opportunity to defend me. All he has to do is pull this in. That's it. That's it. Or pull this down. Instead, he holds R1 and guess what? Pulls him off the line, and now he's on a front position, 2 defenders in the same spot, no rotational position. I can hit either one of these, and that's all it takes. 1, and then pinch the position and in. So what I'm saying is, if I was playing a better defender, I mean, this is a high level player, guys. This is a very, very, very talented player. If I'm playing a better defender style player, I may not be able to get around that, right? And so everybody has different powers, I would like to say. Everybody has a different superpower. So like when I've coached pros, when I coach them and I tell them, I don't want to take away your superpowers. Some of their superpowers might be possession and skill canceling and attacking positions. I want to say take those chances, right? Do what you do best, but also understand where your weaknesses are, because to get better, we have to improve our weaknesses. So many players I coach, guys, I tell them what their weaknesses are, and then they won't implement them. You know what I mean? So instead of like focusing on what their weaknesses are, they want to continue doing what they're good at, and then they get nowhere, right? And so you need to really understand what you're bad at. For instance, like everybody's really bad at player locks. How many people player lock? How many people creative run? How many people do one skill move at a mastery level? Maybe 3 skill moves at a mastery. I'm talking mastery. You know every single ounce of that information in animation. Not very many. So what you need to be focusing on is the things that you're good at, right? Or you're bad at. So you can see right here, guys, here's the defensive structure. I'm with Vitinha here. There's the rotation. I'm actually pulling this offside trap, and then I'm actually taking a risk here. So now why I'm taking this a risk is because of the position. So now what you're going to see is the same concept, different idea. So I missed the jump, and so instantaneously I'm trying to get into that space, and I make a mistake. And that's why I get scored on. So what I'm saying is I took a risk here, and I missed. So right in this rotation, you can see me trying to player switch. I'm trying to get like right here and here and here and here. This is what I'm trying to do. You can see I'm trying to get down there. So I made a mistake player switching. So this was a skill thing. This is a speed of play thing. So is it him being really good or me being sloppy to the play? Me being sloppy. The difference between me being my side of gameplay and his side of gameplay is I know where to be. He didn't know where to be. Do you understand what I mean? Like I'm trying to get there before that play, but I was just way too late, right? I was just way too late. I took a way more risky position than he did. So let me explain. So it's the exact same goal, and this is why I actually want to pull this video up. It may sound like I'm being hypocritical, but you have to understand there's a very small nuance. There's a reason why like you feel like you're just as good as your opponent, but they keep on winning, right? And these are these small nuances, okay? So what I mean by that is he gets stepped out really far wide, but let's think about where my CDM was and his CDM. My CDM, I was actually trying to take a swarm approach and actually press him and pocket the player right here. That's what I was trying to do on my end. But what he does is he stays flat, and then he jumps this. This was not the right thing to do. This was the worst thing to do. He has no chance of winning this ball. He has the only opportunity for the ball to go inside. There's no chance for the risk. Do you understand the difference? I hope you guys see the difference. I took a chance on risk, and I was sloppy to the play. He wasn't sloppy. He was just doing the wrong thing. Does that make? I hope that makes sense. And so if you see us attack right here, what now I'll show you guys the difference. So if we go back right here. So now you can see I'm trying to step right there and he dribbles out. Now I need to actually shift this play in. And I need to get to Conte as soon as I possibly can. And I'm trying to get there. You can see I'm trying to get there and I'm just way too late. I accidentally pull. And I needed to actually pull this in and pull this down. And that's where I made a mistake. But the difference is I was being sloppy with my player switches versus knowing where to be. He was not knowing where to be. He was taking a chance on risk where he didn't need to take chance. And so we'll see a little bit further in this match. As I pull his center back out, now his center back's out. Now we're trying to slot it in. I messed up with Vieira there. But I want you to see something that's very crucial. This is what I call the golden rule, the golden position. When you pull a center back out, right here, boom. This is when space is created. This is when that separation of that zone is opened up. And so all I'm looking to try to do now is I'm trying to create a wiggle movement, right? I'm trying to wiggle, and then I'm going to try to go fink, let's slot it right there, boom, and then I'm just trying to slot it. And so I just thought I'd try to have enough space. And here's the thing, guys. This is something that if I saw it from a student, I would say, you know what, this is good. For me, at my level, I need to hold off. I need to take a dribble and hit. A lot of players don't even take this opportunity to try to realize this position. And so here's the thing. If I'm trying to improve myself, guys, this is where I need to hold on to the position and then rip and just wait a half a second. The only problem is I wait a half a second. Sometimes that hole goes off, but he was going to be on here, so I needed to take that stance. However, what I'm saying is I took a chance at risk. I took a high probability chance at risk. And so there we win the ball back with Mateo. This card is insane, by the way. 1, 2, and then right into we missed that shot. Dude, I hate those run out goalkeepers, man. But I guess what I'm trying to say here, guys, is when we take chances, it should be in a high probability position. It should be when we're breaking their defense down. Or when we can actually win the ball. If we miss that position, we can recover from there, right? Or the attacker, you know, I mean, we have an opportunity to defend our counter, right? So when we take chances, there should be a balance to the consequence of missing, right? There should be a balance to that. Like right here, I'm pressing high and then I'm gonna let go. There's the chance. And so I don't let go, but what I want you to see is something unique. Okay, so this is the difference between pro pressing and like soft and like just elite pressing. Is you see the position of Captivia, he's in front of my opponent. So many players I see all the time, they'll be in this exact spot, and then when they give you a little bit of a shift, you jump this, and then they break. That is significantly different in the tactical scheme of the game. And what I mean by that is right here. If you think about it, if this player, if Hansen is right here, what do the numbers look like for them, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 4 on 5 with the winger over the edge, right? So it's kind of 4 on 5, 5 on 5. Now, to me, whenever you get 1-on-1 down the entire line, all it takes is one little tiny mistake, and I call it the cascading waterfall, where you pass it from one side to the next, to the next, to the next, and they're just stepping, and they step, and they step, right? That's where the game gets easy. So when this happens, all he has to do is make me miss one time, and it's like a simple goal, right? And so basically, by me managing Captivia there, that was able to lock in and then force the pocket. He's going to rotate. We want him to do this because this opens up our time, and now we're just going to defend this interior position. Now we need to come down and come in. I'm going to be a little bit aggressive there. You can see how I pulled down Adama there. That's usually pretty high level right there, is with that little tiny movement. If you see this tiny movement right here, you'll see Adama. You'll see this little movement. This is pro defense. What I'm doing is I'm eliminating this outlet pass to try to give me a chance to be a pressure right here. This is giving me a chance. Okay, so he can't make this pass. So now what I'm thinking is the only pass he can make is right through here. So then what we're going to do is going to like try to step like this and then over the top kind of movement. So now we're going to step in, and then you can see I'm trying to really focus on that Adama position though. So I could have had the chance. I took the passive route. There's Adama from the center attacking all the way over, and we step in. I think he does score another one, and I make I guess that's whatever, it's a animation queue issue. So I put Hullet at cam right now, which is kind of weird, but I'm liking it. So there we go. Now we attack. So this is the rotation. This is it. So last time, this is exactly it. I had Hullet take the edge down. That's my cam, my right cam. And so then we're just going to step right into that space. And that's the difference, right? I wasn't aggressive there. I probably won't be aggressive. I hope not. Or I'll look like a dumbass. But I shouldn't be aggressive probably in that position because he did score on me. So you'll probably notice me pull off on that fullback now, or those CDMs. So there's that fullback, and this is the difference, guys. You see that step? I made a mistake here. So now I really need a hard focus in defensive position. You can see Pacheco come over. I'm really going to try to force that wide. He might score here. Yeah, he does. Oh, I thought he did. The reason why I was thinking this is because of that fullback position. Hullet goes down. He does get that space. I'm really late to that turn. I do play that reference position really well. And then he goes right into this pocket zone really quickly. Right into this. And then he gets into that. He gets a really nice, that's what he does. He does that ball roll, that fake shot ball roll movement, that I guess the trickster ball roll. And I'm trying to pull R1 right here. So I'm trying to close this lane down. I don't want to pull, and I did not want Sandro to go this way. So this is like an AI movement issue that I wasn't expecting, and it threw me off. But did I make that mistake? Yes, that was me, right? But very tight. Those are those tiny details that you have to recognize. Is the AI moving? Is that, whatever it is? Here we go. Patience, but simple movement. Simple movement. I missed the pass, though. Really should be about 2-2 right here. But see, like right. Yeah, see, I missed this. I missed this barely. I'm trying to aim like right here. Yeah. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. But if I green time that, I probably still miss it. It would probably just go off the keeper. There's the rotation. Oh yeah, this is Dumfries. This is my upgraded Dumfries, but he's an 88, and so I didn't mean to have him on. And so actually my right fullback might open up quite a bit. Wasn't actually I'll show you guys. I have quick step rapid on my Dumfries, which is pretty awesome. Okay, here we go. I forgot to use my club member reward evolution, so I just used it, and I used it on Dumfries, and so I'm gonna really enjoy that card later on. But boom, there's a step. So I am taking pressure with the fullback. There's the rotation of the pocket position. We're staying right in that pocket, and so you can see I'm just trying to take a chance. Every time I try to lose the ball, where I'm really trying to lose the ball, guys, if I take a chance, it's like right here. You'll see me constantly get to this position, and then I'll lose the ball. And it's all I'm trying to do is get the right animation, the right timing, the right movement. You see, I try to jump that. Now I need to step off. There we go. Boom, big jump. And then there's a CDM. There's the CDM tackle. That's from a high step. So this usually sets up a goal all the way. Oh, I made the wrong pass. Does that open up? And it does, though. It does, though, which is good, which is great. Unless I have to, you know what? I might have actually made that on purpose, and I'm just seeing it in a slower period. So, right. Yeah, so I was expecting both of them to rotate up, and I just slotted that down. So, hence being cheeky is the way to go, guys. So, if you think about, like, attack, you guys should always be giving, like, you should never be thinking this, like, how do I say this? You should never attack in the same way every single time, or you should never be obvious. But telling someone to not be obvious is like the hardest thing to say. It's like saying somebody not be left-handed, right? How? Well, you have to use your right hand. But how do you use your right hand? Well, you have to constantly train it, right? And so how do you tell somebody not to be obvious? Well, you have to train not to be obvious. And so what I see is a wide open passing lane right here, right? And what do I think I could probably hit that? I might actually be able to hit that. I really might. But what I also see is that he's going to be sprinting this position. And so then it's going to be I actually believe there's more time for me to have him turn around and rotate than to actually hit that, if you follow me there. So it's one of those, so it's like one of those catch-22s. But all right, so here we go. Next step. So now you see me peeing back. So this is the difference between being aggressive and being back. So you can, as I apply the pressure, you can see how fast I come at him. I want you to notice something. I like to say is right here, you see this, see how Henri's creating space down here? What you're going to see is you're going to see me actually talk about an offside trap. Boom, there's an offside trap. Offside trap comes. Right as I hit the offside trap, I'm going to apply pressure. The reason why this is so effective is because if they make a pass right here, I'm in momentum towards them, and they're in momentum away from the ball. For them to turn and try to beat me in this position is very complicated, especially bruiser, right? And so I can just knock them. And so now you're going to see me try to stay more back with probably Conte here. I do step high with you can see that instant rotation. I make a couple mistakes, but there you go. So this is a little bit different. Wasn't perfect. I am taking a little bit of risk here. So like right here, you can see I'm expecting him to hit this rotation. He hits the front rotation. So the second the front rotation hits, what you're going to see is me come down directly with Vitinha. There's a reason why I come directly there. I'm going to eliminate this backside. I'm going to force him to make one decision towards a player. He makes an improper rotation, and I get a little lucky. He takes the wrong rotation. He probably wasn't expecting the Vitinha movement, but that sets up a counterattack. And here we go. We're going to keep our body in between those CDMs and center backs. That's the focus. And then he gets like a weird, dude, I hate that tackle, man. That's that bruiser. That's Vitinha against Adama. It's still in, barely not able to get there. I'm still playing on 100 depth right now. I'm still playing 100%. And so there you go, step, and I'm going to pull off. You see how I pull off right there? That's a very important movement. So I pull off, I allow the rotation. There's our set defense. I let him sit there. You see that? That's the difference. So there's going to be some guys that are going to call me a hypocrite, and then they're going to see me actually sit, and then boom, there you go. There's that rotation again, and we win it in the high press. Then there's the counter right away. We're going to take our chance. Do I get the space? Dude, that term card is just so fast, man. Like, look at this turn and rotation. This is what I hate about R1 is they can just R1 and then just sit in the perfect spot. You're like, come on. Like, look at him. Look, he's over here. He's over here, dude. It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. To me, that is so dumb, right? What I should have done, technically, mechanically wise, guys, is I should have player locked just a little bit to get into that reference mechanic. Because the pass wouldn't go to here if I was cutting at an angle. It would go to about right here. So it'd be like right where this spot is. Right here is where it'd be versus all the way down here, which is really annoying. And so it references, dude, Turum comes over like he was starving, man, and he hasn't had a meal, and then he just boots it. But this is a pretty good player. He's not player locking though, but so now I'm sitting in his pocket. So, and I make a mistake. So I wasn't expecting that. So guys, it's a game about who's less dumb, right? So here we go. I'm taking steps. I see the space. And so there's a reason why I take pressure. And sometimes when I do take pressure, when I don't. So you can look at this. I'm taking pressure because there's nobody in that position, and I'm expecting him to actually cut back here. And so then we're just going to step down with Conte and then force a wide pass. Now, he probably could have worked that in a little bit easier. And then I make a really bad pass. I have to step pressure high, and then I have to pull in. And you can see I'm barely off on Dumfries, barely off on the tackle step. And I think he scores here. Boom. Step into attack position. And that's actually perfect. So when you do break down, this is really ideal. So you can see I have the tackle step. I'm trying to get Dumfries in. I barely missed that. That's going to happen. Now it's about player switching and taking a tackle step. I make the wrong step right there. Now I'm one-on-one. All he has to do is feed the right play. I'm going to go for the pass, not the shot, and then wait for him to come to me and then take my chance. So the second he comes to me, I tackle him into my position versus me going towards him. And I can't tell you guys how important this is when you get into these positions. You see, I'm not stepping to him. I'm stepping backwards. You have so much more time to hit something when they step to us. So you can see I'm going up, and then I see him coming down, and so I'm actually tackling this way. You can see the rotation downward. So I'm tackling into what I call a pinch position. And what I mean by a pinch position is ultimately, guys, when you get into a zone like this, actually it's like this, you're going to be tackling into a pinch. So when you pinch, you're going to be pinching down or like into these lanes. That's it. That's the idea. We're tackling into these lanes. That's the idea. So we tackle, boom, we wait for that. This is where it can get really jagged, so you'd be really, really careful in those positions. Outlet pass right up to Holit. I didn't mean to make that pass. I need a ball roll, but I guess I just take the edge because he gives it to me. I'm going to creative run this way. I don't know if this one locks. It does lock, and dude, he's so quick off that. That's a really quick movement. So he wins that. That's talented defense right there. That's really hard to defend. But it can be easy. I guess it's not. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. He's a pretty good player, man. But he's at 70% possession. You see this? He's at 70% possession, and I've got twice as many. I've got double. I'm doubling up on him, right? I'm doubling up on him by 4 times the amount of tackles. But I'm almost at a 50% tackle win. So that means that my tackle percentage is extremely high. The reason why I haven't scored is because my pass accuracy, really. I'm low pass accuracy. I like to be around 85 to 90%. Anything above that is risk adverse. Anything below it, anything below 85% is usually meaning I'm making mistakes. And then 7-second ball recovery means I'm playing sometimes too fast. So I can't play too fast, and then that usually relies into possession based off of them. I hate players that just take forever to play this game. It just looks like I score right away. Just takes forever. But okay, this is actually a good example. This is a pocket technique. So this is going to be based off the title here. What you're looking to do is you're looking to attack, and you're looking to get right into this position. This is the pocket, okay? This is, I don't know why it does that sometimes, but this is the pocket. We get into the pocket position. What we're trying to look for is trying to pull a defender out. That's all we do. Boom, we grab one. It's almost like, hey, come on here. We're hooking them on. Guess what? Now I've got this lane coming open. Look at this pocket that's created now. Okay, so this huge gap. Remember when we were one-on-one with Alexandro and it was like really hard for him to get to that position? Look how easy I just made that. Really easy. Now I'm just looking at these zones. Now I see these runs. Now I'm just sending runs in while I'm running backwards, pulling back. There's a position. Pocket's still open. Let's see if we hit it. Still open. So I don't have to adjust. And then all I have to do is hit a creative run, open up some space. If you player lock there too, that's where you can player lock. So I think I clipped that one for another one. But oh, he does score on a kickoff as well. So let's see this. I was a little behind on that, dude, probably for that, but we're fine. Oh, he barely beats that edge. And then we're double R1. Oh, you know what? That's Dumfries. So that's a Dumfries mechanic. So Dumfries is like it's an Evo that's like an 88 rated Evo that has like 84 reactions or something like that. It's really low. So, and he's not the player yet. So I would be, if I keep him on, it wouldn't shock me if I end up subbing him off at some point. And I try to take that stop again. I don't want to blame it on that, but we can analyze it a little bit further. But basically, if we look at this zone, so he takes the edge, and then I don't have Conte there, and so then I'm trying to lock this double R1. And what I didn't recognize, what I didn't see, is it wasn't Conte. What I would have done is I would have let go and then held Conte there. And I don't need to be going this way. I need to be going that way. So I could hyperanalyze that, and I could say, but you can see how he animates. So if this was a different defender right here, you can see how I'm actually on the player. So I'm on the player, but I'm holding down sprint, but he animates. You see how he has that animation? That means his RNG variables were affected. So if that was Pavard the way I have Pavard, probably not going to happen, to be honest. 97 reactions, block standard play style. But here we go again. Pull him out. This is exactly what we want. So you can see he's referencing it now. So I'm just doing that. We're going to rip. Boom. That's all we needed. We created space in the pocket. As you can see, space is open now. We are open in space. So now what I need to do is go a little like a 1-2 movement. Or what I need to do is pull off this position. Depends on if that steps down, right? This guy might come in like that. And so then we might need like a little cheeky dribble out and then maybe a slot into that position. So it depends. So we're going to go 1-2, it looks like, because we have plenty of space, and it's going to be simple and easy. That's going to be simple and easy. Boom. 1-2, and then I missed the goal. Dude, I'm so bad at finishing. If I was better at finishing, I need to work on. Welcome back to Elite Gameplay Analysis, guys. My name is John. This is where I go through my gameplay and give you guys tips, breakdowns, and then check out all my coaching stuff. If you like the way I present this, guys, you guys can send me your video. Check me out at Medify.gg if you guys want to get your own session. But today we're using our RTG account. We started it on Tuesday, and we ended up getting rank 2 by Friday with this account. It was like a 150,000 coin team, and it was actually pretty fun. But I want to talk about a concept in this match where it's not about possession. If you guys play possession and you just can't score and you're just 75% possession, or your opponent is 75% possession, they're just destroying you, I'm about to show you exactly why, if you're this close to winning in both key areas. So if you are the possession player, how to destroy defenses, and if you are not the possession player and you're the defender, how to actually play proper defense. So let's pop in, and I'm going to show you exactly what this is. It's actually a concept I call pockets, and I'm going to be making a couple more videos on this, so make sure you guys subscribe if you want to know more about pockets. But ultimately, there's going to be a pocket, and in any defense, I play the 4-2-3-1. You're going to see pockets. And it makes sense that there's pockets, and the reason why is it's very simple, is that this is my 4, this is my 2, and then you have my other players going to be right here, right? And so if you see this, there is pockets in between the defense. Now there's actually a pocket here, and technically there's a small pocket here, but this is really what I call the queen's position. Also, if you are good at defense, the trap pocket. And then you can see it gets micro and microscopic, but then there's those passing lanes, and we can go into that. But regardless, what you are focusing on is maintaining players in pockets. Do I think he can take the edge here? Not with me defending this lane back into the central pocket, right? So we're going to cut out the pocket as he rotates. How many times have you seen this? The game, like every single pro, every single player you can possibly imagine, it's so boring. It's so redundant. This type of content, if you are scoring goals by going right here and then turning and hitting a pass, you are the most dull player, and the reason why you're doing this is because you don't know how to actually attack. You are just manipulating and scripting the defense to then have an AI fluctuation, which then the defense changes. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do this because it is effective, but what I am saying is if this is the only thing you do, you need to be a little bit cheekier in recognizing pockets. You need to be recognizing space. And so as this pattern comes up, as you can see, I usually hit an offside trap, but basically his timing was way off. So now I can actually apply pressure here, and then that's where you're going to see a little bit of a shift, and so he makes a quick pass, but still offside, and now we're going to be defending a gap here, and so you can see the shift, see the structure. He has to wait so long, and where am I leaving the space open? I'm leaving a pocket on the edge open. The reason why I'm leaving the pockets on the edge open is because it's much harder to go this way and attack me than it is to go directly through the middle, right? That should be self-explanatory, and he ends up ripping the pass backwards. So far, I haven't even touched the ball. So here we go again, and what do? I shield the interior, and I just let him go the width. He has Sao or Bonmati, so there's no chance really he's going to be able to beat me around the edge. And what does he do? The exact same thing. So I'm not saying that, my opponent's dumb, but what I'm saying is what happens is everybody is dumb, in my opinion. So I guess that technically means that my opponent is dumb, so bear with me. But I believe, guys, we are all dumb, and it's all about who is less dumb, essentially, right? And so basically he's just staying in this spot because he's not used to somebody actually defending this. As you can see, the space is starting to open up, and then there's a step, and it gets into a spot where I can apply pressure, and there's the tackle, and then we move the ball forward, and then that's how you break that position. And then within 2 seconds, he does get this tackle, but within 2 seconds, I'm not kidding, within 2 seconds, and I guess we won this Howland card, so I guess this is after the weekend league. But within 2 seconds, I pulled a huge gap on him by pulling his center back up. So what I mean by this is if you guys know how to counter, you can create chaos on a defensive structure way faster. So within his 5 minutes of gameplay, his 5 minutes of in-game time versus my 15 seconds of in-game time, I already was able to essentially get further into his defensive structure than he was able to get into mine. And so this is just a concept. So here we go. We're going to defend the interior pocket. We expand, and then now we're going to do what I call a shepherd movement as he recycles, and he's going to come across. So there you go. You can see I'm pulling him down. I want him to go this way. The reason why, interior positions allow in also the edge. If I stay in the interior and force him wide, that means way more time for set up my defense, and so you're going to see me stay right in that interior. Now, this is a little bit more aggressive. I expect him to pass that, and so we apply some pressure there, and so then he ends up making a poor decision, and I just make a wrong decision. I wasn't looking at the play, but there we go. Now we win the ball, and so it's when you play possession players. So now you can see me, I'm pausing here because I know how long he's going to be playing a possession. That I did not have an opportunity to go forward there, so we stay that back, but instantaneously almost broke him again. Wasn't anticipating this. I should have just ball rolled and then boosted right through here, and I wasn't expecting that jump, so that threw me off initially. But just wait, guys, this is a really short match because I'm going to show you why possession just does not matter. As you can see, this is a front-loaded pressure, so this is when they are being passive, they're expecting you to be passive again, so we actually show them off. And here's the thing. When you guys be aggressive, you always need somebody back in order to be defensive, okay? So if I press with my fullback, I need somebody to replace that position, right? And depending on how many attackers they have, that's the balance. But we win the ball in a straight position, and now look, I've already gotten further than he has within just a single tackle against him that he got on me. And so this is actually an attacking pocket. So now I'm actually going to show you guys this in real time. This is a pocket. This is the attacking pocket. It's going to shrink. So here comes this pocket. You can see it still here. We're right here. Boom, 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 boom. And then it's going to shrink again. Here in a second, it gets really tight. As you see this starts to get tight, you know exactly what's about to happen. But yes, the ball is going to go wide, and we're going to have an outlet down the wing. And then now what happens is I essentially drew 3 defenders against me, 2 CDMs, and his fullback. Ultimately, this is the recipe for destruction. And now I have the far pocket available and starting to open on the far edge. So pockets are where to attack. As you can see, now it gives me a different read. I should take this edge, or I need to cut into this position. What matters is not what I do. It matters what he does right here. If he's able to, if he takes the edge, I need to go this way, right? If he takes the far, I need to go down. And so let's see what happens. So it looks like he goes down, and I go back, and then I'm going to rip a pass across. So the 1, 2, and then a finesse shot. So within 10 seconds of me having the ball, like him 89% possession to me having, 10% possession, I was able to score. And so you can see right here, guys, this is a common mistake I see all the time in defenders. It's a very common mistake, is they want to rush this position. 0 point. There's zero point to actually rush this position. 1, you open up this angle. 2, it's really easy for him to cut back. 3, if you accidentally jump it, you're going to be absolutely toast anyway. So I always pull this back. I defend this interior. There's no reason for this position. And so 99% of the time, what they're going to do is they're either going to try to like go this way, or they're going to go that way. And they'll most likely go back and recycle because they don't want to take the edge. They think this is going to be too congested. Possession players do not like to take risk. I want to explain that. They do not like to take risk. I can't say that further. You can leave interior, you can leave this area open against a possession player. And the reason why is they don't want to take the risk. If they're a 75% possession player, that means they're usually bad at defense and they don't want to give up the ball. So let them, like, you can cheat a little bit against people like this. You use your mind a little bit, right? Use like this pocket area they don't like to go to. They don't like to go here. I don't like to necessarily cheat here. So what I try to do is I actually try to show an offside trap if I ever do cheat in this position, or I will like try to bounce into that position and then maybe have a quick step. I know if I'm going to be there and pressing, but I cheat a little bit against possession players because they don't want to take a risk. All they're looking for is they're looking for a wide open gap so they can like pass it here and then step over boost straight through a gap. That's all they're trying to do. So here comes a rotation. Here's a recycle. And you can see there's the jump. And so what I do is I cheat over a little bit. I leave this space open. And so now all I know is all I have to do is defend this position right here. And he actually pushes it right down the middle. And that's exactly where we want him to go. Right into a pressure position. That wins. That's a trap. So these are an example of if he was going to maintain possession, it would have gone this way. But I open up the position. It can be dangerous. However, I do understand when the plays go wrong, exactly where to go. So if you guys are thinking about player switching this position and you see this ball go boom, I need to be right here. The chances of him going this way, very slim. Chances of him trying to go directly through, very high. Chances of him faking and then cutting this way, also high. So if I miss at all, what I do is I will switch and I'll pinch this position. However, the timing it takes for him to fake and then go this way, I'm going to start to try to drag this guy down as well. So when we think about like defensive position, and he stepped anyway. So he went into me and then instantaneous outlet, and 3 seconds later, we are already breaking him down. Couple creative runs back and forth. There's a little cheeky miss, and I make a bad pass. But you can see how quick you can break somebody down. I'm not saying you should counter every single time. What I am saying is you should counter when there's opportunity. And when does that opportunity really face? That opportunity is usually when you see a big gap. If we actually zoom in right here, if I could, I wish I could. But if you go down here in this box, there's a huge gap between his defenders all the way up here. And what I'm referencing is a little bit of muscle memory of knowing where my players are. I do a quick read. This is where the skill comes in. But I do a quick read against my opponent right here. So I'm basically checking to see where Sawa is, where there's an outlet, and if there's open space. Typically, I'll just rip, I'll tap R1 a few times, and then I'll just rip a pass right here. And that's usually the case. And typically, that's going to be always open. If you have wings up like this, you can just, you have to recognize those things. There's the instant step, and then there's an instant step. But it's the outlet, right? It's recognizing that there's nobody in that queen's position. There's nobody in the central mid. And he was extremely, like, no, did not want to take that chance right away. So there's, you know, every single time we play this game, there's little tiny details. So like right now, this is a pocket we're staying in, right? Here's this pocket. So we're staying in a pocket, and all I'm looking for him to do is to create a wider pocket right here. That's all I'm looking to do. I want this guy to like close down, or I want these to come out, right? And so if this goes down, that's ideal, right? Because that's a huge pocket. That's very rare. This is more likely the case, typically, right? If all three come in. So we get one step. Now the pocket's going to shrink a little bit. So we turn out. You see how we step through? We recognize the pocket position, and we just rotate out, and then we wait. This is what pro players do that you're not recognizing. It's simple. It's right here. Here comes the step. Pocket's open. We're just going to rip into that space. Boom. Right away. And now we're applying pressure again. We are technically what I call in a one-on-one position. We're in the I guess the golden position, one-on-one with the goal, or 2-on-1, and he ends up, not a goalkeeper, but he ends up stepping, and I get a little bit caught off on my positioning. You can see I thought it was going to go a little bit further wide, and then it kind of got, I think I was trying to actually pass it to Del Piero here. So I was trying to pass it to Del Piero, and so I had to pass it here. So I was actually wanting Holland, and so then I had to readjust, and then I needed a turn. So I needed to turn away, and I just stepped into him. But the idea is that I got one-on-one with the center back, or 2-on-1 with the center back, pull the center back out. He has to convert, right? And the more times you get one-on-one with the center back, the more conversions you force them to make, the more mistakes they're likely to make at some point. It's just mathematics. You're going to get open looks. Here we go again. Fullback presses high. CDM comes down. There's the back pass. I missed that opportunity. I was looking too hard. So now I need to find the pocket. So here's the pocket. So he overstretches. So this is the difference between your fullback attacking here and your fullback being right here. If my fullback is where Hullet is, guess what? He could put his Hullet right here, and I have no entry pass. So now we recognize the pocket, one right into space, and then we wait. I barely miss it. We get a nice little tackle, and then we have to wait for that space to open up. So did I get the tackle back? Sure. You say, oh, John, that's a tackle back scenario. You didn't deserve that goal. Sure. But you know what? Here's the thing is, I got into the box. He didn't pass the ball. He sprints out because he's on his edge, right? What happens is the reason why you guys get tackle back, the reason why you guys get rebounded, the reason why all those they're because of mechanics. What happens is when you get into a position just like this, I will explain rebounds right here. When you get into a position just like this, typically you're a little frazzled, okay? Typically, this is the moment that you're a little bit shaky, and this is the moments that usually you win or you lose, right? If he cleared that ball, it would have been 1-0, and he may have had an opportunity to come back, right? But these are those moments. And when we get into these moments, this is the clinical part. You have to understand that when you make a pass like this, there's a moment when it goes from being the attacker to the defender. So the game has to switch your controller from attack to defend back to attack, right? So the idea is this. If you click circle too quickly, what happens? Well, if you click it's going to shoot and then it's going to block, right? But if you click circle after the point of it switching from attacking to defense, then what happens? Well, it's going to have a tackle step, right? And that's a simple idea. That's a simple construct to the concept. But that happens is there's a moment when that changes. Right now, it's attacking, right? We're going to let's slow this down. I'll show you this. Right now, it's attacking. It's defending. And you can see it. You can see it because of the animation off of Thuram. So you can see how his animation's set to receive the ball. That tells me, right, we're still on attacking. And you see how his animation's slightly going backwards. You see that? His animation's slightly going backwards. And then now it's going forwards, right? Player automatically switches. He's coming forward. that recognizes as an attacking mechanics. Now I'm on defensive mechanics. So that's when I can then go. And so I missed the first one, and then I go for the second. He could have just clicked circle and cleared. But typically what happens is players aren't fast enough in this position, then rebounds happen. This is where tackle spammers really make a mistake. But ultimately, guys, the mechanics come down from going from attack into defense, and there's that clean, typical point where you need to really know and adjust to that. If anything, if I was a coach and I was just saying, hey, if you're a defender there and the ball's in the box, what would you do in real life? Would you kind of toy around with it like Marcelo and do like a rainbow flick or try to play out of it? Probably not. You would boot the crap out of that. If it goes to a corner, if it goes out of bounds, it doesn't matter. So many people lose from rebounds in these moments because they just don't clear the ball. Even in the pro scene, people don't clear the ball because we're playing a video game. We think we can get out of these positions. So I guarantee if you guys are getting to those spots and you just start just spamming circle to clear the ball, you will fix like 80% of your rebound scenario. You'll still get rebounds and they'll still happen. Those moments like that will still occur, but they will be significantly less frequent. Significantly. I promise you. So like right here, we're being tight and smooth. And so then he was trying to play fast. And so that's why this is exactly why possession players, I recognize his fullback forward. And now we have so much space and there's a big ball. And I do get this one. I don't usually do that, but with Holland there, we just rip a deep cross. So you can see what I'm actually trying to do is just lock it right here. I honestly cross so few. Like I'm probably like a Div 4 player when it comes to crossing, as you can see. But ultimately, we get the size advantage, and then he doesn't player switch. And again, this is the difference between being a pro player and being like an elite player. Is if you see this, a pro player would be recognizing what? That he's not going to win this against Holland. He's not going to charge here. So what he would do, or what I would do, is I would switch right here and recognize that there's a shooting far post and a shooting near post, and then I would try to get into this position and then pull an R1 here. That's what I would try to do. I would be switched here, and I would have been approaching this position, and that's the difference. Now, you're probably sometimes some people, you guys can't switch out of that. That's where you have to use like a player lock if you're on the attack, if it recognizes your attacking side, or you have to like switch out of it another way. But that's it for today's session, guys. Recognize pockets, recognize defense, defend those spaces, defend the interior. Don't pull your fullbacks out wide, and just recognize that possession doesn't matter. It's really about the opportunities that you create. Until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next episode.